state. Prior to her service in the U.S. Senate, she was a member of the U.S. Congress, where she served for 14 years. And prior to that, a former member of the West Virginia House of Delegates. In Washington, she represents us on the Senate Appropriations Committee. That's a big deal. The Committee on Science, Transportation, and Commerce, the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, the Environment and Public Works Committee, and the Rules and Administrations Committee. Senator Capito is committed to being accessible, and you'll see throughout this week that all of the elected officials that come are here to be accessible to you. A lot of other states don't have this opportunity to meet with their senators, but you do. I am pleased to introduce my good friend, Senator Shelley Moore Capito.
Things about our relationship. We've known each other since you were at Boys State. What year was that? 1997 was probably the first time I met him, and he is now, I see him on Capitol Hill because he works for Amtrak and does their policy and works with them. So you see, you never know how long these relationships in West Virginia are going to go. So the relationships you're forming here in the next 5 days are relationships that are going to go, now we're 21 years later. And so that's the beauty, I think, of Boys State. So I want to thank Jim Davis, the director. I want to thank the American Legion for always having a wonderfully inspiring group of young men, future leaders of our state and our country. I know that when you all woke up this morning and it was raining, you're probably thinking, what have I gotten myself into here? But what you've gotten yourself into is a great learning ground for leadership, relationships, government. I tell you what, I come from a political family. My father was a governor. He was also in the House of Representatives. And he loved Boys State. For the guys that have been around here a long time, my dad always came to Boys State. And the big thrill for him was, as governor, he could land his helicopter right here in the middle of and he always came in with a big flourish. But he was always really proud of the young men that he got to meet here. He didn't come to Boys State when he was a young man, but I was lucky enough to see 2 of his grandsons come here in probably 1998 and 2000 and enjoy Boys State. And I know that's what you're going to be doing today. So I really want to talk about leadership and how I see it in terms of what you're developing today. As you look at the political landscape in Washington, D.C., I think a lot of you probably turn the channel. Kind of like, whoa, they're always fighting. It's always partisan. It's always bickering. It's always disagreeing. And I think you would be surprised and will be surprised to know that really there's a lot of common ground across parties. You're going to find this when you go to your elections. You really have a lot of the same, because you have the same goal. A prosperous America that takes care of those who can't take care of themselves, that has a strong presence around the world, that is a strong voice for freedom and liberty. Those are the common goals that we have formulated from our forefathers. It's just how do you get there, where we differ. And that, I think, is what you'll find as you start developing your platforms and where you're going to be. I want to thank the governor here for welcoming me. The governor's going to be going to college in the Washington area. So again, a relationship that we've developed and hopefully we'll keep nourishing as he is in DC. Maybe you'll come by and be an intern or something in my office. That would be good. So we're very excited about that. So I want to thank all of you all. You've been selected by your schools. I was over at Girls State last night. They're hanging in there. They're getting organized as well. And I said to them, like I say, I think every time I come to Boys State, which is just about every year, you know, the beauty of West Virginia is what you see in this room. We're just one big, small town. The relationships that you're building right now are going to be the relationships that carry you through, whether you come back and be a counselor, or whether you come back and visit, whether you go to similar schools, whether you study things, whether your kids ends up eventually on the same little league team, all these things are about building relationships and trying to network with the future leaders of this state. And so to become stronger leaders, you gotta learn how to disagree. Now, we're gonna count on your generation to help us a little bit because we're not doing so well at this disagree thing. What has happened, I think, which is very interesting, and you all are gonna be able to capitalize on this, is the whole rise of social media. When I first started campaigning, we did not have social media. All we had was the newspaper, the TV, the radio, and shoe leather, which means every parade, every door knock, every sort of volunteer issue. Now you can reach so many more people on social media so rapidly. And you see the value of social media, whether it's, okay, I'll tell you what Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Those are the three that I do. I do not do Snapchat. Who does Snapchat in here? I know you're not doing it this week. So yeah, I probably should be Snapchatting because I'm missing a few millennials here if I'm not doing that. But I'll tell you my Twitter story that you might find humorous. I had a Twitter handle through my official office that was like, it still is like Senator Capito, Sen Capito. I have thousands, I don't know how many, 59,000 followers or something. I'm proud of that. But anyway, proud of those followers. So I was able to access my own Twitter account, but I never posted anything. My office would post what I was going to say. Well, one night when I was looking around on my Twitter feed, I accidentally hit retweet of something that I shouldn't have been looking at. And the next thing I know, I look at my email and I get an email from my chief of staff and he says, "That's it, you're done. We have changed the password." So I got thrown off my own Twitter account because I didn't, you know that little star thing up there where it says retweet? Well, I retweeted the wrong thing. So anyway, those of us who are not as good and agile on the phones as you are, we got kind of kicked off. Are you allowed to have your phones here? Yes. Oh, that's good. That's probably a change rule. Probably started no and then decided can't fight it much. So anyway, getting back to Washington, I think we're seeing something really historic this week with President Trump meeting with the president of North Korea in my lifetime, which is like 3 times your lifetime. I've never seen this. It is going to be very interesting tomorrow morning to see what happens. Because I think everybody in this room, we probably don't know what's going to happen. I was saying to my husband, I thought, well, I bet all the negotiations happening behind the scenes, will it really be like that? I mean, President Trump, wrote the book, Art of the Deal. He likes to deal. So he's going to want to be in the room when the deal's crafted. But I think with the sensitivities of North Korea, the global implications, the far-reaching implications for your generation, and denuclearization of North Korea would be a great thing. I mean, literally, they are building to the capabilities to be able to shoot a nuclear missile all the way into Denver, Colorado. They're close to that. We don't want that. It's unsafe for you, it's unsafe for us, it's bad for the world. So if this can become a success, part of it is starting the dialogue. And so I congratulate the president for starting the dialogue. Let's see what happens in the next several days as the dialogue moves along. But where I do have concern with social media and with the art of the deal is the use of social media to push a message sometimes in a non-civility type of way. Now, I was chairman of the Civility Caucus when I was in the House of Representatives. So what's the Civility Caucus? The Civility Caucus is where we learn to debate, we talk about debate in a civil way. Your parties are going to disagree here. I disagree with the opposite party that I have, but I can do that in a good way without disparaging somebody's character or without calling them names or without getting overly dramatic. So when I was chairman of the Civility Caucus, out of the 435 members, we only had 20 members. 20 members wanted to join the Civility Caucus. Do you know how many people wanted to be in the Wine Caucus? 130 people joined the Wine Caucus. So I thought maybe we ought to join the Wine Caucus and the Civility Caucus together, drink some wine, and maybe we'd get more civil. It's a little joke, guys. Come on, I know it's really good. Thank you for laughing. In any event, I think it's something that with the 24-hour news cycle, with the social media immediateness, it does present a challenge on the new role and the new styles of leadership. And so I want you all to figure this out. How to do it civilly, how to get a good result, how to keep the confidence of the American people, how to make sure that when you're looking at the news, you're not just turning it off because you can't take, it no longer reaches you in a way that helps you have confidence in the decisions that are being made, and then it also helps you in realizing that in conflict you can reach good things. We have that in the history of this country. 2 weeks ago, I was at the World War II Museum where about 70 of our veterans came in on what's called an honor flight. They fly in with JROTC. They were from southern West Virginia, from Mercer County. I know that's where Ken's from, but Mercer County. And so they came in to pay tribute so that we could pay tribute to their service. And some of them are in wheelchairs, some of them are 90. There were 2 World War II veterans, there were a lot of Vietnam veterans. But that's when you realize the sacrifice, the commitment, the preciousness of our freedom. When you see our older veterans who were there for us, when you see our veterans who are aging, who were there for us, and still literally tears running down their cheeks when they get to see the memorial and pay tribute to their fellow soldiers. I was also in distant Africa about a week ago, where we have people deployed all over the continent of Africa and Europe, and obviously in the Middle East. I went to Afghanistan as well. When you talk about sacrifice, I met a young captain, a young woman who was in the intelligence with the Navy. And I asked her, how long have you been here? She's in Djibouti, which was 106 degrees at 8 in the morning. You think a little rain's bad? 106 degrees at 8 in the morning is hot. And she was there. She had been there 8 months. She's going to be there 4 more months. I asked her if she had a family. She has a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. Now that's commitment. That's commitment by that soldier, by our other soldiers, to leave their families in the aim of protecting our homeland and protecting our freedoms. So thank you. I know you've got a lot of veterans in the room today. Thank you to all the veterans in the room. Thank you to the American Legion for working with our veterans. So lastly, I'll just say, in terms of leadership, one of the things that I think is, I heard somebody say this in a speech one time, and I thought it was a really interesting concept if you think about it later today. When you think about leading, it's easy for me to say, I'm a leader, I want to go this direction, I think this is what's good for West Virginia, I think this is what's good for the country, I think this is what's good for you. So if I'm leading and I'm going in this direction, and I turn around behind me, and nobody's following me, then you know what I'm doing? I'm just taking a walk. So think about that visually. When you talk about leadership, it's about you being out front and making the decisions and leading. But the bigger challenge, that might be the easy part, the bigger challenge is who's behind me? Who has got my back? Who believes as I do? Who wants to go in the direction I go? How much can I bring that coalition, bring that cohesiveness, bridge the partisan divides that we see all over the state and the country, and pull them behind? That, to me, is leadership. And that's what elections are about. If you want to lead, you got to have people behind you. You can't just take a walk. But you got to have people that are going to push that button, or whatever we're doing now. Let's see, we just got electric. Who's from Kanawha County here? We just got electronic voting finally in Kanawha County, so we can push the screen. Is that my neighbor over there? No. I was going to say, is that my neighbor over there? In any event, so voting is really important. Become a part of the interested, the valued, the caring future of the country. Don't let all this other rattle around you thinking that our core values aren't still there, because they're still there. They're always going to be there. When you travel like I did to Africa, actually I was on 3 continents, 9 countries in 11 days. When you travel the world, the first thing you think about when you come home is, thank God I'm an American. What a great country. With all you're going to learn about it today. So good luck with your campaigns, good luck with your leadership. I'm on my way back to Washington. People ask me, how did you get into this? I told you my father was in public service, following in my father's footsteps, but it wasn't a direct path. My first major in college was zoology. Yes, zoology. I am a zoologist. Does anyone believe that? No, but I work in the biggest zoo in America. I'm on my way over there. Thank you all very much. Good luck. Bye.